What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Police, and we're turning to Synchronicity, 1983. Thank you again to Lori and Stefan. And the next track in the playlist is Oh My God. It's a common expression or interjection. It's used in a number of different contexts, both those that are fearful, exciting, enjoyable, and otherwise startling. I suppose it's noteworthy that the O is just the letter, it's not OH, which is typically a more common spelling these days. It's O as in interjection is a bit more antiquated, I would say. You see it in older texts. So either way, there's a million different directions this could go. All I would say is that it must have some degree of import, some degree of significance, because it's not an expression that you say unless, I suppose, you're being sarcastic or trying to be comedic in a very flat, monotone, unexcited way, like, oh my god. Like, you don't typically say it that way. Nevertheless, let's see what I can pick up on a first listen. This is The Police, the tune is Oh My God, and it's from their 1983 album, Synchronicity. Oh, heard a sax. Rhythm in the guitar. Extra dimensional. again, sonically, without even getting to the lyrics yet, and those I was intrigued by, though don't really know what to make of them. But sonically, the drumming, again, Copeland's drumming really does stand out to me the more and more I hear their material, just the rolls and the fills, which, talking about filling up the space between people somehow, or between a person and maybe a religious entity, because again, it felt like, oh my god, could actually be more literal in terms of someone giving a plea or calling out, but I don't know from what else I heard with the words that it's actually heading in that direction. But again, the sonics, the drumming the drumming was very compelling. The brass had some different layers. There was a bit of a sax, but I feel like maybe there was a trumpet too. Either way, there were some moments where it felt sonorous, other moments where it was a sort of short blurting, a kind of rhythmic blurting. Then there was that trill, like super rapid fire. Some of the ambient pads, I don't know what that was. Maybe they were actually keyboards, but they had, again, a very other dimensional type of feel, even before we got to that section where it felt like somehow the world got sort of turned inside out and everything was echoic and like drifting off into space. The guitar had, again a bit of a jangly feel to it at certain times, so all the different instrumental parts were very compelling and in some ways different from a lot of other Police material. Now, there was that like rhythm guitar ska type element, which it's funny because a lot of their stuff, especially the earlier stuff, I kept saying like reggae rock reggae. It felt like it was very much in that area. This felt a bit more like ska when it came to that rhythm guitar, but again, those two genres, essentially reggae emerged out of the earliest ska, so they're certainly connected. So in a way, it felt similar to what I've heard in other Police tunes, but even so, it was a bit distinct. Sting's vocals felt, I've been listening to a lot of U2 lately, and sometimes when Bono goes really sort of hot and like burns in a sort of raspy kind of way, it felt like Sting was doing some similar vocal work here. And ultimately, it felt maybe less like some of his vocal work in other tracks, but still at the same time recognizably Sting. So I guess my brain doesn't quite know what to do with this tune. It was very in its own territory and felt less like radio pop and more experimental. Again, my understanding is that in the later stages of this group, there was some tension because it felt like Sting was trying to do pop songs that were so different from what they had done before and was clearly trying to head in a different direction than maybe the other guys wanted. This felt less like that. This felt more, let's try something new, let's do something really outside the lines. So again, going into this album, I was aware that it is very well received among Police fans, and perhaps part of it is it wasn't conforming to expectations, or it was doing different things sonically and didn't feel tired or like, oh, they're just doing the same thing over and over again. But yeah, this one felt very unique, for lack of a better term. I hate using unique in a sort of spectrum type of sense because it really is an absolute quality. But it felt more off on its own than some of the other Police material I've heard. And again, I don't quite know what to make of the lyrics. There were references, again, to filling a space, which could be filling a space with interaction, and if two people are sort of cold and they're not really getting on, or there's not enough engagement, then maybe that could be about creating some of that. But maybe if you feel like you're distant from someone, you're trying to fill the space between you and in that way draw closer, which again could be interpersonal. It could have more like metaphysical connotations, and maybe that would fit with the way some of the sonics felt. But bottom line, I really don't know what to do with this tune, but I found it compelling. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.